Hi and welcome student to this new video. In this video I am going to cover the Node.js from scratch. This video will help you in learning Node.js from scratch and it is the beginner guide. So you will learn everything what you need for backend development in 2025. This is kind of quick guide of Node.js. So in this video we are going the introduction of Node.js, file system module, the HTTP module, the path module, the Express, middlewares, Mongoose for MongoDB, and JWT authentication, and Bcrypt for hashing the password. So these all topics are the part of this video. And if you like the video, make sure to subscribe the channel and also hit the bell icon to never miss any update from my channel, and also make sure to do comment and like the video also. So let me introduce you before what is Node.js. So Node.js is a runtime environment that allows JavaScript to run on the server side. Actually, Node.js is not a language, it is kinda environment which is allowing the JavaScript to run on the server side. It is built on the V8 engine from Chrome, making it fast and efficient. It uses an event-driven, non-blocking input-output model, which is ideal for scalable application. Node.js is widely used for backend development, APIs, and real-time applications. Actually, it is the part of one of the popular stack, which is called Maran stack. Okay, so let me download the Node.js before how we can download the Node.js. You will have to download the Node.js on your system. You will have to go to Node.js org website, and there you will have to download this LTS version from this website. You will have to download this window installer. Okay, it will take some time for downloading. Here you can see it is downloaded now. You will have to click on this. Let take it some time. You will have to click on the next. Yes, I accept the term and conditions. Yes, yes, everything should to be default and install. Once this loading complete, you will have to go to the terminal. In this command prompt, you will have to write, let me zoom it a little bit. You will have to write here the Node.js version. Here you can see in my case it is 22.12, which is the most up-to-date version of Node.js. With this we are also getting another thing which is called NPM. You can also check it version by doing this. Okay. So here I am going to finish the installation. Now, as you saw that it is installed in my PC, now you can run JavaScript outside the browser. How? Let me show you. For example, here I am going to create a file of index.js. Let me shrink it a little bit, and here I am going to write console.log hello world. And if I open the terminal, let me show you. Here I am going to open the terminal. And if I run this file with the help of Node.js, so how I can run? You will have to write the node and the file name index.js. Now let's see, here you can see the hello world. So it is running outside the browser with the help of Node.js. So thanks to Node.js that we can run the JavaScript now outside the browser. Now I'm going to show you some basic operation that we can do with the help of Node.js. For example, if here I write the node, now I'm entered in the node. So here you can perform the calculation, everything you can in the JavaScript you can perform here in the node environment. For example, if I declare a var my name, now if I check my name, here you can see it is giving my name. So it is allowing me to write JavaScript on the terminal with the help of the Node.js environment. Now here I'm going to talk about now the FS module. So the FS module in Node.js allow interaction with the file system. Okay, it provides methods for reading, writing, updating and deleting files. So whenever you have to play with files in Node.js, you will have to work in a FS module. So you can use fs.read file for reading the files, write file for creating the file and modifying the files. It supports both synchronous and asynchronous operations. So if you are from JavaScript background, you must know the synchronous and asynchronous operation in JavaScript. Let me show you what is synchronous and asynchronous operation in JavaScript. In this, if I show you here another console.log and here sync nature of JavaScript. So JavaScript is an interpreted language. It means that it is running line by line. So first it will run this console, then it will run this console. And you can test it. Let me show you how. If I go and run this file with the help of Node.js, here you can see a hello world and sync nature. But if I want to make it the asynchronous, what is asynchronous meaning? Let me show you with the help of code. For example, let me clear this and I'm going to console something here. Initial console. And here I'm going to create an asynchronous task. So how I can make an asynchronous task? So you will have to work with the set time out. This is taking a callback. And let me write here the inside the set time out and let me give it some amount of delay. For example, I am giving it 2 seconds of delay. And here I am going to write the final console. Now you will thinking that it will run this and it will waiting for this for 2 seconds and it will run it and after this it will run it. No, it will run this one and after this it will run this one and after this it will run this one. So let me show you with the help of output. Here you can see the initial console, the final console and the inside set time out console. So it is the asynchronous nature of JavaScript. That JavaScript is not wait for anything. Okay. Let me go to the preview and here I am going to show you how we can work with the FS module. So in Node.js, whenever you are working with anything, you will have to import it from that particular directory. For example, now I'm going to work with the FS. So let me make a file of fs.js. And here, as I'm working with the FS, you will have to require this FS. FS. Okay. Now this FS is used for reading, creating, deleting and modifying the files. So how? Let me create a file with the help of this FS module. So here I'm going to create a file with the help of this FS module. So you will have to write fs.write file. It can be sync and async both. So I'm going to work with the sync. So here you will have to define the name of the file. For example, I'm going to make the name of file my file .txt and the content which should to be in the file. I'm going to hello world in my file. Now if I save it and run the file, now let's see what is happening. Okay, my file is another one, Nodejs.js. So here you can see a file is created now, and the file content is hello world in my file. Okay, so this is how we can work with the fs module. Let me create another file with the help of this. I'm going to my file 2 and let's run this again. Here you can see another file is created with the name of my file 2. You can also create the JS file, for example my coding file. Now let me run the script again. Here you can see my coding file is now created here. So this is how we can work with the fs module. So this was for writing the file. Now let me show you how we can read file with the help of this. So for reading you will have to store it in some variable. For example, const data is equal to fs dot read file sync, and here you will have to write the file name. For example, I'm going to read the file of my file .txt, and you will have to tell the encoding type. Here it is UTF. Okay, now let me console this data and let's see what is happening. So here you can see I can read the data from the file hello world in my file, which is written in this file inside. Okay, so this is how we are working with the fs module. We can also update this data inside this module. How we can update this data, let me show you. For example, if I want to update this text, so you will have to update in this way. fs dot append file sync. Here you will have to define the file name, which is my file .txt, and the text which you want to append in this particular file. And I am the happiest coder. Okay, now let's see. If I open the file now, here you can see it is updated with the particular text which I have provided. So this was all about the fs module in Node.js. Let's see what is saying the nodes further. The another one is a HTTP module. The HTTP module enables the creation of a web server in Node.js. It allows handling HTTP request and response. With HTTP.create-server, you can build a simple server that listens on a specific port. This module is essential for developing RESTful APIs and web application. So this is the main module of Node.js, with the help of which we can build a server. So here you can see they have require the HTTP module, and with the help of this they have created a simple Node.js server. So how we can do this, let me show you with the help of code. Here I'm going to create a file with the name of server.js. Okay, first you will have to require the HTTP module. Now you will have to store the instance of this. You will have to create a server. Okay, so for this you will have to work from the HTTP, and it has a method of create server. Okay, and this take a callback. Okay, and this callback takes two arguments. One is called request and the another one is called response. In Express we will better know these two things, but let me show you now what these are. So res.end hello world. Now we will have to listen to a port. Listen I want to work on 3000, and here should to be a callback. Now let me run this file. How I can run this? You will have to write node server. Here you can see the server is now listening or running on port 3000. So you will have to go to the Chrome browser or any browser and type here the localhost 3000. So here you can see the hello world is now visible, which I have written here in the response. So this is how we are making a simple server with the help of HTTP module from Node.js. You can write anything here. For example, if I repeat in the HTML tag, now here you can see, okay, you will have to stop the server when you make any change in the. Now let's see. Here you can see it is now in the form of h1 tag of HTML. Okay, so this is how we are working with HTTP module in Node.js. There is also another module of path. So the path module provides utilities for working with the file and directory paths. It helps resolve absolute and relative paths efficiently. Functions like path.join and path.resolve simplify handling path across different operating systems, ensuring compatibility. So path is also one of the useful module in Node.js. Okay, so how we are using the path, let me show you. For example, path.js, and you will have first to import the path. For example, I need the current path in which I am working. So how you will have to write the dir name, if I'm not wrong. Okay, let me run this file. Node. Okay, it's I think it should to be here. You can see it gives me the complete path, and let me see clg path dot dir name. Okay, it is saying that it is a function. Okay, okay, the name. Now let's see. Here you can see it gives me the path in which I'm working now, the directory, and if I am going to let me see what is in the path. Okay, now let's see. Let me comment this one and let me console it now. Here you can see we have a lot of thing in the path. For example, we have a resolve function, normalize is absolute, so ext name. Okay, let me see one thing. So if I want to get the extension of this, then how I can? You will have to write the path.txt name, and here you will have to pass the file name. I think here you can see I got the .js. So this is how we are getting the extension of a file with the help of path module. Okay, now let's go to the Express, as we are not working in core Node.js when we developing the applications. So what is Express actually? So Express is a fast and minimal web framework for Node.js. It simplifies server creation and API routing. It provides middleware supports and built-in functionalities for handling requests and response. Express is widely used for developing REST APIs and full stack applications. Okay, so this is a simple example of how we are creating the server with the help of Express. So here I'm going to create a specific folder for Express. Okay, so whenever in Node.js you have to work with the third-party modules, etc., then you will have to create a package.json file where we are using the configuration files, etc., for the particular project. Okay, so how we can do this, I'm showing you in few moments. So first you will have to enter to that folder where you want to create the file. For example, I'm going to enter the Express folder. Okay, now here you will have to write the npm init command. Okay, and it will ask you a few questions, and here you will have to answer with the yes or enter button. So they are asking what should to be the package name, so it should to be Express, yes, as the folder name is. Version should to be 1.0, yes. Description Node.js chorus. Okay, entry point index.js is good. Test command no. Git repository no. Keywords no. Author okay. License yes. So if I go here to the Express folder, here you can see the package.json file where the whole configuration is present. Okay, whenever we install something to this project, then it will store here. Okay, it information will store here. Let me clear the terminal and let me install the Express. So for every package you will have to learn. If you want to learn about packages, then you will have to go to the npm. This is the big site. So here you can see the Express, and it has a lot of downloads. Okay, here you can see the downloads of Express. So this is the npm packages website where you will find the whole packages for Node.js. Okay, so this is the installation method. Okay, let me install it. You will have to paste this command in the terminal, npm install Express. Okay, so it will install the Express in my system. Okay, here you can see now in the package.json a dependency is created, and in this dependency here you can see an Express with a version of 4.21.2. okay, and here if I show you a package log.json file is also created, and this package log.json file is contained all the information which my project holding. Okay, and what my package depends on, for example, what Express or other packages are dependent, these all things are written here. Okay, and here is another folder created also which is called Node Modules. The packages which I'm installing are storing in this particular folder. Here you can see a lot of things are created, and these all things come with the help of Express. Okay, when I install the Express, these all things are needed for Express. Okay, because of this node module folder is created. So you will have to not work with the node module folders. Okay, keep it off. Now let's go to the file. Here in this I'm going to create a file index.js. okay, you can create with any name, but I have made it the entry file. Because of this, I'm naming it index.js. So for creating the server with the help of Express, first you will have to require the Express. For example, I'm working with Express, so I will have to require the Express. Then you will have to store the instance of Express in a variable. For example, I'm going to store it in an app so that I will able to use all the functionalities of Express. So app.listen, here you will have to define the port. For example, I'm going to make it 3000 and a callback function which is telling us that the server is running on this particular port. Okay, now if I go, first you will have to run the server. For example, I'm going to run this file. How I can, you will have to write the node index.js. okay, here you can see the server is now running on port of 3000. If I go to the browser and have a request on this, so it is saying that can't get this. Okay, because we have not defined any route now. So for defining the route, you will have here to write app.get. I will show you later what this get method means. Okay, I'm going to the route, and here you will have to define previous like object, callback function, and in this you will have to define two objects. One is request object and another is the response object. Okay, so here you will have to send a response, a hello world. Okay, now let me show you. If I refresh it now, it is not, because I will have to restart the server. Let me refresh it again. Here you can see hello world is now written. So this is how we are building a simple server with the help of Express. So how easy it was. First I require the Express, then I store it instance in an app variable. After this I define a route, and then I listen to a port. Okay, so the get method is a method due to which we are getting the things from a particular website. For example, if I request for Mongoose package, then I am requesting a get. I am requesting with the help of get method. Here you can see it gives me the Mongoose package. And if I am going to create something, it is called the post method. Okay, whenever I'm creating an ID or something, for example, let me show you. If I go to the MongoDB and here I click on the sign in, and here when I'm writing here something and server is listening to this, then this is called the post method. Okay, and when I have some information, for example I'm updating my profile, then that method is called the put method. Okay, and when I am going to delete something, then that method is called the delete method. Okay, I will show you with the help of code, but before I was to tell you the methods with which we are dealing in APIs. So this is how we are creating the server with the help of Express. Now I'm going to show you what is middleware in Express. So middleware function in Express process incoming request before they reach the final handler. They can modify request and response object, execute code, and handle errors. Example includes Express.json for parsing JSON data and custom middleware for authentication and logging. So it is a syntax of middleware. So middleware is a function, not a big thing, and it is a kind of function when we implement it on a particular path or route, then it is executing and it is for specific task. Okay, if you want to check a user whether it is a authenticated user or not, for that purpose we are using this middleware. We are using different middlewares. Okay, now let me show you with the help of code how we are creating the middleware in Express. For example, before this I want to create a middleware. So how I will do this? App.use request response and next. It takes a third argument which is called next argument, and here I write a console which is saying hello from middleware, and I call the next function. If I don't call this next function, then it will stuck here and it will not execute further. For example, let me show you. Let me stop the server and run it again. Here you can see it is loading, and if I show you the console, here you can see it is written that hello from the middleware, but the function is not executed this thing because we have not called this next function. If I call this next function and let me run the server again, here you can see it now gives me this output, and here you can see also this is executed. So this was the magic of next function in middleware. We will see middleware later in the course how these are working. Now let me show you other methods in this. For example, if you want to create something with the help of this, request response, then you can access what we are creating with the help of request from body object. Okay, now let me console this, or you can also send it directly. So for this purpose I'm using the Postman extension, which you can also download from the extension tab. Here I'm going to have a new request, localhost 3000, and here I'm going to have a create post raw, and here you will have to go to the JSON. Let me restart the server and write here the name. Now let's send it. Here you can see the status is okay, and it has nothing give in response. This is why, because we have not used a middleware which is called Express.js. So you will have to use that middleware for reading the data of JSON. Here you can see it is suggesting me this middleware. So you will have to use the x.use, and the name of this middleware is Express.js. Now let's see. Now if I request, let me restart the server. Here you can see I have found the data from the body which I have written here. For example, if I go to this and write here something another with data, success, true, message, data created, and also the data which we have created. Now if I write here something other with this email, now let me post it, but before posting it, let me stop the server. Here you can see the success is true, the message is data created, and data I have created is found to me in response. So So this is how we are working with Node.js and Express. Now I'm using a package called NodeMon. I can't spin my server again and again. So for this purpose I'm installing a package which is called NodeMon. Okay, so you will have to install it with -g for global installation. Now you will have to write npx nodemon. Okay, so it will run my file. Here you can see now it will restart my server again and again. Now I'm going to introduce you the MVC architecture in Node.js. For example, when we work with Express or Node.js or any backend, then we need a particular arrangement for our files, and in Express we are using an MVC architecture for this purpose. For example, for controller you will have to make a folder for controllers. For routes you will have to make a route folder, and for model you will have to create a model folder. I think it should to be routes. Let me delete the file. Okay, now I will work accordingly. So let me put this thing in one folder. I'm going to create extra folder here and paste it here in this folder. Cut and paste it in the extra folder. Okay, I think it should to be controllers folder. Now let's see. Now my project is looking more modular. Okay, let me close this everything. And open to the index.js file. Now here I'm going to clear everything, and here I'm going to create a simple Express server. Const express require express. Okay, const app is equal to app, and a simple get path. Const port. So for security we are using a package which is called .env, which is securing our security items. Okay, so for that we are using the process.env .port. We are going to define this thing by now. Okay, 3000. Now app.listen, this time port, and in callback server is running on this particular port. Okay, now let me install that thing. npm I install .env. So I will have to require that file in my system, const.env, and .env I have a method of config that should to be called. Now I can use that port from the env file. So here you will have to create a file of .env, and in that I am going to define the port of 4000. Okay, now if I run the server, npx nodemon, here you can see now the port is 4000, which I am using this one. Okay, this stop pipe means if this port is not available, then run on this particular port. Okay, but now this port is available because it is running on the 4000, which I have defined in the env file. Now I'm going to create a controller for creating a task, but before creating a task I will have to define a model for that purpose, and I will have also to connect to the MongoDB server. So how I can connect to a MongoDB server? For that we are using a particular package which is called Mongoose. Let me install the Mongoose before. So you will have to install the Mongoose, and now you will have to connect it. But for connecting we are using a cpred folder which is called utils. So here I am going to create a folder utils, and in this I am going to create a file which is called dbconnection.js. Here first I will have to require the Mongoose. And then I'm going to define a function connectDB, which is an asynchronous function with a try catch block for error handling. Let me console the error, and let me export this one. Now go to the MongoDB website. Here I'm going to log into this MongoDB website. So for creating a new database, here you will have to click on this new project, and then here you will have to define the name for this project. Okay, I'm going to name it Nodejs. Here you will have to click on the next. Yes, I'm the project owner. Here you will have to click on the create cluster button. After this you will have to choose the plan. I'm choosing the free one, and here you will have to define the name for this cluster. Okay, I'm going to name it Node.js. Here you will have to give it password, and click on the create database. After this you will have to go to the network access, and from there you will have to edit and access from anywhere. Okay, now I will have to click on these choose methods and drivers. So here you will have to wait for a few moments that it is generating the URL for me, and that time I'm going to create a schema for my project. Here for example I'm going to create a simple project where I'm going to create a user.model.js, and here I'm going to require the Mongoose before. You will have to define the schema for user. What the schema exactly mean, I am showing you in 1 minute. Okay, so new mongoose.schema, and it is taking an object, and in this you will have to define what my database should store. Okay, for example, I'm going to store a name, email and password from the user. Without these things, user cannot store anything further. It should to be object, and the type for this should to be string, and it is a required field. Okay, another thing which I'm requiring from the user is email. Email type should to be string. It is required true. Okay, and it is also a unique field. Okay, another thing which I'm requiring from the user is password, which is type of string, required true, and by default it should to be false in selection, so that whenever I'm requesting the user, the password will not be with the user. Okay, now let me export this model. I think my it is still not generated. Let me connect drivers. Okay, now I will have to copy it, as it is a sensitive information, so you will have to store it in the env file. Port, not port, Mongo URI. Here you will have to write the password. My password was Node.js. So here in the DB connection, here you will have to pass this in a function which is called await mongoose dot connect, and the process dot env dot mongo URI. Okay, now if it connect to this port, then please console that database connected successfully. Okay, then I'm going to call this function in this main file. Okay, db connect. What was my function name? Connect db. Okay, copy it and call it here. Let me import it. Now let's see. Here you can see database connected successfully. Now I'm going to create a route or a controller for creating a user. Okay, and that we are using the JWT token and also the bcrypt.js. Okay, now let's go to the controller, and here I'm going to create a user dot controller dot js. Okay, so first I'm going to require the model for user. Okay, it is good. So here I'm going to define a method for registering the user. So what is the method? Register user. Okay, and it is an asynchronous function which is taking request and response, and here I am dealing with third-party modules, so because of this I'm using the try catch. First I am requesting to a body for user credential, and I'm destructuring the body object which giving me the email, name and password fields. Okay, so this should to be request.body, and any of this field if there is not present then throw an error. Okay, so not email, not password, or not name. Okay, so please return a response has a status object, and in this you will have to define the status of 400.json. We can also send a response in the JSON, and here I'm sending the success to false, and the message all fields are required. Okay, if the user is already present, for this we are going to check const existing user, await user, the model user. Okay, has a find one method, and I'm going to find it with the help of email, that email. Okay, which I have requested from the body, and if this existing user then I will return a response to the user. Status should to be 400. Okay, that JSON success should to be false, and message user already present, and if everything was okay, then I will have to make the password hash. Okay, so for this I'm using a package which is called Backend. Okay, I think this is unreadable code, so I'll have to write it here. Let me const bcrypt is equal to require bcrypt.js. Okay, so here now I'm going to hash the password, const hash password. So it is an asynchronous task, because of this I'm using the await. So bcrypt dot hash, and I will have to pass the password and also the salt. Okay, here you can see password and salt, so it should to be 10. Now if we done, then I'm going to create the user. Okay, const user equal to await user.create. User has a create method. Okay, with which we can create a user. So here you will have to pass all the things. So for name it should to be name, for password it should to be hash password. Okay, this password. Okay, paste it here, and for email it should be email. Okay, and if everything done, then I will have to send a response to this user. Return erase the status of 201 because I have created a user. Success should to be true. Message user is registered and the user also. Okay, okay, and I will have to console the error and also send a status of 500 because it should to be server error. Okay, and also send the error. Now let me test this, but before testing I will have to export this. Dual.exports. Register user. Okay, so here I'm going to create a route for this now. Let me create a user dot route dot js. Okay, first I will have to import the router object from the Express. So let me const Express require of Express const router is equal to Express dot router. Okay, now I will have to use the method of this router dot post. Okay, here is a register and here I will have to call that function of register user. Okay, here you can see it is imported from the user controller. Now I will have to export this module dot exports. Okay, router. Okay, now I will have to import it in the index.js file. Const user router require of user route. Okay, and here in the end I'm going to use it app.use and user router. Okay, now if I test it, should to be 4000. It is a register. Let me make it post request and body should to be raw and here in text it should to be JSON. Okay, let me shrink it little bit also to this one and create here an object which is giving me the name of user. Okay, now let's also use the email. Now let's request and test the API whether it is working or not. Here you can see it refused and I don't know what can be the reason. Let me see. Okay, let me see what is the reason. Okay, I think it is the route issue, so let me see whether this route is present or not. Okay, so this route is not present. Now let me give it now let me test it. Here you can see it is now giving me different error. Okay, so it is saying that email is undefined. Okay, now let me see. So I think I will have to use the Express.js method here. Okay, have to use Express.js. Now let's see this time. Here you can see the status is now 201 created, and if I show you, here you can see true, success is true, and user is registered. And here you can see the password is now a random long text which is not under human understanding. Okay, so this is how we are registering a user with the help of Node.js. Now let me create a method for logging. So this was a registering method, and now I'm going to create a method for logging the user. Const logged in user is equal to async request response and a try catch block. As you know that whenever we are logging a user, we only need email and password from that particular user. Okay, and if any of this field is not present, then we are throwing the error. Okay, and after this we are checking the user. Await user.find one with the help of email. It is similar to the previous one. Okay, here if not the user is present, then we are throwing the error. Okay, return status of 404 .json success false message no user found. After this I'm going to compare the password. If the user get const compare password, so it be crypt dot compare. In this you will have to tell the password and the password of the user. And if it does not compare, then you will have to throw the error. Okay, invalid credential. Okay, And if everything was okay, then you will have to generate a token of JWT. Okay, first you will have to install the JWT. Okay, let me import the JWT also. So JWT has a method of sign. Here you will have to pass the payload. Okay, so I'm going to store the user ID. Then it is taking a secret. Okay, so for secret I'm using a variable process .env .secret JWT secret. Okay, and it's also taking a third argument which is expires in, and it should to be expired in 1 day. Okay, let me take it to the .env file. I'm making it a random string. Okay, now let's see if the token is created successfully. Then I'm going to return a response. Okay, success should to be true. This time I'm getting the user because it is 200, and the message is user is login. Okay, and the user and token should to be sent to the user. And here I'm going to send the status of 500. Success should to be false, and internal server error is this, and I'm also consoling the error. Okay, now here I'm going to send this token in the cookies. Okay, so for this I'm using a cookies, so you will have to write the res.cookies. Okay, let me suggest, yes, it is cookie. In cookie I'm going to create a key with the name of token, and in that token I'm going to store this value of token, and you can also pass another argument which is HTTP only. This should to be true. Now let's see whether this is working or not. Now as I have created a route, but I will have also to import it in the route. Okay, now let's go to the user route. First let me export it. Here let login, logged in user. Okay, I think it is the logged in user. Okay, now let import it in the user route. So here I'm going to use a router .get, not post. Okay, as it is also a post method. Logged in user, let me import it. Here you can see it is now imported from that particular route. Now let's see. Here I'm going to make it login, and I did not done, I don't need of the name. Now let's send a request. It gives me the internal server error. Let's see what is the error. Okay, so missing initializer in const. Okay, let's see. What can be the reason? Let's comment this. Let me see. It is still giving me the error. Okay, so I will have to select the password in the route. Okay, so here you will have to write the select password to true, and now let me check it whether it's working or not. Here you can see now the status is 200, and if I show you the user, here you can see this user is now logged in, and the token is also generated. Here you can see the token. Now let me see why it is not storing in the cookies. So okay, for that purpose I will have to use a specific package which is called cookie parser. Okay, as I have used the middleware of Express.js, we will have also to use the cookie parser. Okay, so I'm going to use the special package for this cookie parser. Here you can check it on the internet. If I show you, cookie parser. Okay, so you will have to use this cookie parser package. Here you can see it is a requested cookie with it is very popular, and it is very simple to configure in application. You will have to require it, and then you will have to use with the help of this function. Okay, here you can see it is the initialization of this cookie parser middleware. So let me go to the index file. Here first I will have to require this one, cookie parser, and you will have to require it in this way. Okay, now let's use it here. Use of cookie parser. Okay, let me delete this route as there is no need of this one. Now let's see it. Let me go here and do not comment it, and have a, if I show you the cookie now, it has a token value, but let me send. Here you can see it is now updated. Okay, and if I go to the body, here you can see the user is logged in. This is how we are working with user logging and registering. Now I'm going to create a simple to-do app where you can delete, update, and you can do everything. Okay, so let me go to the controllers, and in this controller I'm going to create a to-do controller.js. okay, so for today I'm going to create another model. Okay, now let me go to the model. Before, where is the model folder? Yes, here. Let me create a folder for this to do model.js. First I will have to require the mongoose, const to do schema. Okay, so here I have to define what should my schema contain for to do. So new mongoose dot schema, and it should have a title which is type of string. Okay, and required. Okay, true. I have also completed. Okay, so completed should to be type of boolean, and required, it should not to require, it should have a default of false. Okay, and let me export this model. Now let me create here functionalities for this. First let me create a method for creating the to do. Okay, so const create to do, which is an asynchronous function, request response should to be try catch. Okay, now from body I'm requesting the title. Okay, request that body, and if there is no title then throw the error. Okay, of 400, that's JSON success false and message title is required. Okay, and if it was present then create the to do. Okay, const to do is equal to await to do model dot create title. Okay, and if it is created successfully then return the response. .json success should to be true, message to do created and the to do. Okay, and if it falls the error then console the error, and return a healthy response with 500 status and internal server problem. Okay, now let create a route for this to do dot route dot js. Okay, now let const express, or you can directly go with this one. Okay, is equal to require dot router. Okay, now let use it post method create to do. Okay, and let export this function from here, module.exports is equal to what, create to do. Okay, now let me import it here in to do route, create to do. Okay, here you can see it is imported from the file. Okay, now here I'm going to export this route also, module that exports equal to router. Okay, so you will have to import it here, const to do is equal to require after router, okay, which is dot slash router into dot route, okay. Now let's use it here. Now let me test it. Here I'm going to use it the create to do. It was needed of title. The title should to be I'm hungry. Okay, now let's see whether it's working or not. Here you can see to do created and the completed false, okay, and the title is I'm hungry, okay. And now I'm going to create a route for getting all the totals, okay. For that, let create a const get totals. This is a asynchronous function with request response try catch block. And here I'm going to const to those await what is called let me see the database name to do model, okay, to do model that find, okay, res return res the status of 200, okay, that JSON success true message to do's and the to do's, okay. And if it falls the error, then I will have to console the error. I don't know why it is very slow. Okay, now let me see whether it's working or not. So I will have to export this route also. Get to those and use it here in the to-do route. Router dot. This time I'm using the get method, okay. So to those and get to those, okay. Let's import it and let's see whether it's working or not. To those and the method should to be get. I'm getting 200 okay response, and here you can see an array of to those, and I'm getting the to do, okay, which I have created previously. Now let's create a route for deleting and putting the or updating the to do, okay. How we can do this. Now let's see. Whenever we are to update or delete a specific thing, then we will have to request a URL, okay, param, okay, sorry. Now let's see. Let's first get the single to do, okay, const single to do asynchronous function with request and response try catch. Okay, so first I will have to grab the ID from the params, okay, request dot params, okay, and once I get the ID I will have to find the to do with the help of that ID, okay. So const to do is equal to await to do model that find by ID, okay. This method is present in the MongoDB by ID and the ID which we have in the params, okay. So here you will have to pass that ID, okay, this ID. So return res data, okay, status of 200 dot JSON, and in this JSON the success should to be true, and the message single to do found, and also let me pass the to do, and if it fall the error, then I'm going to console that error. Okay, return status of 500.json, success should to be false, and the message internal server problem. Okay, now let's test it. For example, I have idea of this particular today. Now I'm going to find it, but before I will have to use this. Okay, let me single to do. Okay, and let export it here. It is also a get method, but this time you will have to write it in a specific method. For example, router.get. Here you will have to write the .id notation. Okay, in this way, and here you will have to write the single to do. Let's import it and let's see whether it's working or not. So here I'm going to use this now, and let's see. Here you can see a single to do is found, and this to do is this one. Okay, so this is how we are getting the single data in backend with the help of params. Okay, now let's create a delete method for this one. Const delete to do is equal to asynchronous request and response, and let have a try catch block. Okay, now let again have a request for the id from the params, and if I found the id, then delete to do. Okay, await to do model that find by id and delete. Okay, so we have this method, and here you will have to pass that id, and if it is deleted and it find it, then I will have to send the response, and here I'm going to catch the error. Okay, this is how you will have to, you should use the Codium. Okay, here you, if you are wondering how it is completing, so you will have to use this Codium. Okay, this is AIH. I'm not going to suppose that code from self, you will have to work from AI. Okay, this is Codium, you will have to install it. Okay, let me test it whether it's working or not, but before I will have to delete it. Okay, they have already exported. Okay, now let me import it in this file. Okay, so here you will have to use the router dot delete method. Okay, for deleting that, and it is also dynamic field, so here you will have to pass the id, or you can go with the delete id. Okay, and here you will have to pass the delete method, delete to do. It should to be imported from that file. Now let's see. Here if I pass now that id x, now delete, and this, now let me select the delete method. Here you can see to do is deleted successfully. Now if I go to do's and trying to get it, it will saying that there is no to do. Okay, here you can see it is empty because I delete the previous to do. And if I am going to create it, here let me see, create to do. Let me see, I'm hungry. Let post it again. Here you can see it is created. Let me create another one. And you are thirsty. Okay, post it. Here you can see it is created the second one. And if now I goes to to-dos for get method, let's see. Here you can see I have now two to-dos. Okay, one is the hungry one, thirsty one, and the another one is the only hungry one. Okay, and if I am going to find this one, let's see. Here you can see it give me the single to-do, and if I want to delete it, now I can delete it. Okay, you will have to go with here delete. Now let's see. Here you can see to-do is deleted successfully. Okay, now I'm going for updating the to-do. So updating is also very easy. Const update to-do. Okay, asynchronous function should to be request and response try catch block. Okay, now let const completed is equal to request.body and const id is equal to request.param. Okay, so I'm requesting the completed from the body and the id from the params. Okay, now const update to do. Okay, this is very simple. Okay, let's see. To do model dot find by id and update. Okay, so here you will have to pass the id, and object you will have to pass the completed. Okay, and you will have also to pass another object in which you will have to write the new to true. Okay, it is making sure that updation is a valid. Okay, now let me return the response with the 201 JSON. Success should to be true. Message to do updated. Okay, and the updated to do. Okay, and if it failed, then console the error. Hurry up, I'll have to write it manually. Error, and also return the error. Okay, success to false. Message internal server error. Okay, let me also send the error. Now let's test it, but before testing let me export it. Update today. Okay, and let me import it here. Update to do, and let use it here. Router dot put, here I'm going to use the update /id, and also let me use the update to do. Okay, now let's see whether it's working or not. Let me get the to-dos. Get it, and let's see. I'm getting this to do. Now I'm going to update this one. Okay, and let go to update with this to do, and here in the body I'm going to pass the completed to true. Okay, now let's see whether it's working or not. Okay, here I will have to choose the put method. Here you can see the to do is updated, and now if I show you, the completed is true. Okay, and if I make it false, let's see. Here you can see it's again successed. Okay, the completed is now false. So this is how we are working with the Node.js, Express, MongoDB, Mongoose, JWT, and Bcrypt.js. So if you like the video, please make sure to like the video. Okay, and do comment and subscribe to the channel, please.